Well, there's something to be said about the challenges that cause you to go back to the drawing board and avoid getting your ass blown out because of your team and thieves. A much better reason to go back to the drawing board and change things up is if people play your game and you think that too many people are enjoying it and having too much fun and they think it's too good.
This game is really good. This game is really, really good. I think I've screwed up somewhere.
God damn it, says Kojima. I hate that the playtesters are enjoying Death Stranding 2 so much. I gotta go change some stuff because it needs to be more polarizing.
I fucking love that.
I fucking
love it.
It's this. Oh,
I love it.
Just when it's the same fucker every time. So in a recent discussion, Wood Kid, who works with Kojima on the music, has been working on a lot of projects together, said there's a key moment where we had a discussion halfway through doing the game where he came in and said, we have a problem. I'm going to be very honest. We've been testing the game with players and the results are too good. They like it too much. That means something is wrong. We have to change something. And then he changed stuff in the script and the way that some crucial stuff happens in the game because he thought his work was not polarizing and not triggering enough emotions. According to Kojima,
it needs more emotions.
If everyone likes your work, it means it's mainstream, it's conventional, it's pre-digested for people to like it. I don't want that. I want people to end up liking things they didn't even like when they first encountered it, because that's where you really end up loving something. And
he's completely right.
But does that not make perfect sense when you go, I was trucking and having fun? I never would have thought that was an enjoyable experience. Right? You were being a teamster. You were porting and walking up mountains and doing a bunch of bullshit in Death Stranding while holding a baby on your chest. Who the fuck would have thought that would have been so fun?
I have an example. I saw people going, "This is stupid. What a stupid idiot!"
Right.
And all I can think of is like, how many more decades of arguing about Raiden do you guys want to do? Like, for real,
right.
Like are you like, really? How many more years of arguing about whether or not Raiden sucked do we want to go through before you realize that fucking game is the absolute fucking peak?
Too many people were enjoying it. I need to go fuck shit up. I need to go change it and make someone mad. If someone's not walking out going, "What the fuck, bro?" then dude, I failed.
You know what? There is a really, really good example of a game that is built in a way that will cause many people to argue that would not even be close to as emotionally moving or genius if it wasn't built in a way to cause people to argue.
And that is,
I don't want to even talk about it. It's that game that we were talking about a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, okay, right, yeah, sure,
right. Yeah. And it's just like, if that game had a really straightforward, good ass, happy feeling ending, it might be like, oh, cool, I guess. But like, now that it's like, I want to fight someone over that fucking ending. I want to argue.
But like, you remember that clip of the dude playing DMC5 and seeing Dante dancing and going, "Bro, I don't understand this fucking game, bro," and he throws the controller down, right? Kojima is watching that and like flicking his glasses up to get the perfect reflection, this is the reaction I'm looking for.
I'll take a much older example. All right. Do you think any of us would still be talking about Last of Us at all if the ending did not cause many people to feel very different things very strongly? No. You'd be like, wow, great game, cool. but there'd be no long-term discussion if people weren't arguing over whether or not Joel was right or wrong.
Divisiveness creates interesting discussion, especially when you're on moral tightropes, for sure. And ethical
And it caused people to actually think about what was going on in that story rather than just go, and then Joel beat up all the bad guys, the end.
Yes, yeah. No, it is a very fun discussion to like enjoy the video game, but then come out the other end of it going like, oh, was that right? Was that, you know what I mean? Like, would you think that was, and then especially with the example from prior as well.
I also want to say, like, this is the difference between somebody like Kojumbo and Druckmann, in which Druckmann recently came out and went, yeah, by the way, Joel was wrong. They could have totally done a cure. And it's like, shut up, you idiot! You just ruined it! Why would you ever put a definitive correct answer to that? You fucking buffoon.
If I remember correctly, like people would not stop hounding David Chase about Sopranos.
Yeah.
And eventually, a billion years later, there was a sort of half acknowledgement about.
I think he screwed up talking about it in an interview.
There was an interview, and it was a half acknowledgement about it, right? But it was one of those things where he really, really tried to just be like, "Can you just leave it alone?" And like, no one would accept it. Like some people like definitely were like, the ambiguity is good, and some people are like, yes, it's ambiguous, but I feel confident leaning one way or so. But there were enough people, and it was an influential enough show that like they were just mad at the openness of it and never got over it for decades.
It reminds me of, so Kojumbo's in good company here, because it makes me think about the late great David Lynch. Whenever anyone asked him to explain literally anything, he'd just be like, "No,
nope."
Watch it again.
Yeah.
And I think about when people would ask John Carpenter, "So who was the thing at the end of the thing?" He was like, "Shut up!
Yeah.
It's the movie. What are you, stupid?"
You need that's the second half is once it's out and everybody's going, ugh, you need the wherewithal to just be like, eat my ass, fuck you, no, hard no forever, and hold that till you die. You need to lynch it up, you know. 100%.
It also reminds me of Tarantino with Pulp Fiction, in which he's like, he regret, like, of that movie, there's one part of that movie he fucking hates and he regrets it, where they put a light bulb inside the briefcase to make the briefcase shine, which started like this
the whole
this
thing
decades long. What's in the briefcase? And he's like, I don't give a shit what's in the fucking briefcase. Nothing's in the briefcase. It's a movie prop.
No, there's a light. That was it. Yeah. The human brain cannot accept that. The human brain needs to know. Yeah. No, I see the quote going up there. Eraserhead is my most spiritual film. How so?
No, I won't. No. Could you explain that? No.
Nope. Refuses to elaborate. Anyway, fucking Kojima. Amazing. Incredible. You'll love to hear it. And yeah, it certainly definitely could be, and is likely what we're describing, where like characters making decisions that are, you know, ambiguous or defensible in certain, you know what I mean? Like, is probably what we're talking about. But like,
where you look at a character act and you go, oh, well, that was reasonable. Okay. You move on. You never think about it.
But I love that idea of him just looking at everyone walking out satisfied and going, fuck, I needed someone to get mad. I need someone to be really pissed off right now. Oh, shit. Incredible.
So Kojumbo believes that friction is where you get sparks.
Yes.
And like Death Stranding is like taking that idea to the extreme. Like parts of Death Stranding are like miserable and fucking boring. On purpose.
Yeah, when you die and your save file gets deleted in Kojima's future dream game, some people will get mad at the lost time and progress, and others will be like, ah, yes, the experience. I truly will sit with that memory forever. It was special because it only existed once. And he'll be like, yes, you did like it. You get it. You understand. It is divisive. This is what I want.
So, I think the best example of this ever by far, was in No More Heroes 2, So No More Heroes 2, you're climbing up the rankings to become the extra big cool assassin, and you're gonna go after Margaret Moonlight. Margaret Moonlight. And so you go to a supermarket parking lot, and in that supermarket parking lot, you fight like 400 guys, and they just pull up in cars and get out and fight you. And then you kill all of them, and more cars pull up and they get out and fight you. And it's like 15 fucking minutes long. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it never changes. And the fights don't get any harder. And it's just super fucking padded and pointless and shit. And by the end of it, you're really, really bored by fighting all these dudes, and the fighting has no excitement left for you, and it just sucks, and it's totally pointless. And then they put the biggest, most cool, and like they put the biggest like custom music boss fight of the entire game right after that. So if you ever want to do the Margaret fight ever again, you have to go through the dog shit fucking parking lot war. And I saw an interview a couple weeks after the game came out where they were like, Suda, why'd you have that gigantic super long fight in front of the Margaret Moonlight fight? It's like, oh, because I wanted the player to get tired of fighting and to realize that fighting in this video game is totally pointless and it actually sucks. And then you put a cool thing at the end, and then it makes you wonder if you ever want to do it again, and the player goes, it's not worth it.
Imagine,
it's like, that's fucking amazing.
Like, imagine, because here's the thing, other mediums definitely are times where it's like, oh, you turn the page and it is blank, and it is blank for many pages. The movie goes silent and nothing happens on frame, right, for a certain amount of time or whatever. Like, different mediums have different ways of having that, like, we're disengaging with you and we're going meta with
like
it,
movies
right?
that have like a still shot with no change for like multiple minutes is like, how long are you willing to tolerate this before getting up and leaving?
But that or the song that, like, you know, goes blank or fuck, you know, whatever the case is, the medium that decides to go antagonistic with the audience, right?
Hey, we're gonna have these two characters stand in an elevator with absolutely no animation for as long as you can stand it as the viewer.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, right? But video games are the only one that will reach out of the screen and kick you in the balls and ruin your hands and make your wrists hurt and make you uncomfortable and, like, physically ail in order to cause that discomfort. Of all these mediums, it's the one that's going to actually punish you and make it hurt to get this fucking point across.
I will give a gold star to David Cage, because in Heavy Rain, when you are at the junkyard and you have your gun trained on that gigantic scary black man who's going to eat you, it looks like, and you have to take your drugs, the controls that they want you to pin right on the controller, where you have to claw your hands around, and it's legitimately really uncomfortable and hard to do, and tons of people fuck it up, and it actually does a really good job of like putting you in the character's shoes of like, oh, I gotta hold the gun and I got fuck.
How many soldiers did Zack take down at his last stand?
A lot. A lot. How
long did that go for?
A while.
Yeah. You make your point, you know, and this is the medium that can do that. That it's a thing that video games can do that is phenomenal.
You know what? You know who the best to ever do it is? The best to ever do it is God of War 3 at the very end, when you're just hitting left trigger, right trigger to punch Zeus's dead body.
Right.
And I remember seeing like Game Facts message board threads of like, how do I beat this? I've been doing it for like an hour. And like and it's like, no, you have to stop. Like you're at the end of a 4 game revenge trilogy.
Yeah.
And like the only way to beat it is you have to stop.
You have to stop. You have to stop. Yeah.
And it's and that like that's fantastic.
Shout out to video games.
Video games are cool. And sometimes when they suck a little bit, they're cooler. Now, let's be careful. Death Stranding 2 might suck shit and he might have gone too far. Probably not.
Well,
who knows?
Hey, if something comes out and it sucks, no worries. You can just rely on the modders.